Okay, so segment 2, chapter 4 started by talking about the brain's vascular system. The brain will quickly die without nutrients that blood provides. And the brain only takes about 2% of the body, but it uses about 20% of the body's energy at rest. So it does take a lot of energy and is very consuming for the body. And blood supply is provided by the carotid arteries, and the anterior and middle cerebral arteries supply blood to 2/3 of the cerebral hemispheres, and the posterior cerebral arteries supply the rest of the blood flow to the rest of the body. So the base of Willis is made by the joined cerebral arteries and can allow the brain to get blood flow if a passageway is blocked, so it's an alternate route for blood flow. And then lastly, the blood-brain barrier makes the movement of material into the brain cells more difficult, which gives the brain protection from foreign pathogens, but it is not impenetratable, so things can get through it. Okay, so for brain imaging, advanced to see more advanced images and detailed images of the brain, and they can see them of healthy human brains to see the brain structure and activity. And they use CT scans, MRIs, DTIs, PET scans, and many other types of imaging to see the brain. So CT scans make an image from brain density. And MRI, which is magnetic resonance imaging, is a higher resolution than CT scans and can show more subtle changes in the brain rather than just very noticeable big ones. So FA is the tendency of water to diffuse rapidly along the axis of an enclosed space, and it's the basis of DTI imaging. And it creates structural images of axonal fibers. So PET scans show metabolic maps of the brain, and they show them as they relate to certain tasks that a human can do. So it observes brain activity. And fMRI, which is functional magnetic resonance imaging, shows changes in the brain metabolism, and it focuses on oxygen use by regions in the brain, and it is changed by aging and also disease. And it shows synaptic inputs and processing as well. So optical imaging uses infrared light to monitor brain activity. And TMI allows people to activate certain areas of the brain to monitor changes, so they can choose what parts of the brain they want to image at that time. And it uses light but produces a more focused image compared to the optical. So another type of imaging, MEG, responds to small changes in the brain, and it is often used with MRI to visualize the brain. So brain imaging allows people to see brain lesions, and lesions are areas of the brain that have been damaged, and these imaging techniques allow people to get an idea of what is going on inside the brain, and it allows scientists or doctors or any type of professional to see brain anatomy and differences between brain regions and active, alive human brains.